Hey everyone, Harris Rubenstein here for Chat Sports. Joining me as he does every week is Brent Corobotiuc from BetDSI. All right, Brent, we're going to go through some NFL picks this week. Let's start with Cowboys and the Redskins. Big-time NFC East matchup. That division, I don't know if it's a dumpster fire or if it's just really, really tight, but this game, very interesting. The Redskins, a 2-point favorite, coming off the Cowboys, by the way, roasting the Jaguars at home here in Dallas. How did this line come out to the Redskins being favored by 2?
Yeah, we usually talk about how home field is worth 3 points, and I think if you look at the current form of these two, especially just the offense and defensive matchup, it probably doesn't suit, doesn't line up pretty well for Washington here. We did open 2, basically the number sat at 2 and hasn't moved at all. I've actually got more wagers on Washington, so we're kind of comfortable sitting on the 2 where it is right now. Looking at the market, everyone's pretty much running the same number, so looks like we got this number right. The total as well hasn't moved a whole lot, but I do have sharp money on this one, and that came on the under 42. So, you look at the Washington in terms of their offense and their yards per point and stuff like that. It's not very good. They haven't done very well, and Dallas's defense is shaping up to be a top 10 defense. It looks like so. It's a big game, especially for the division. You've got Washington sitting there at 3-2 at home, Dallas 3-3, but they're 0-3 on the road and 3-0 at home. So this is going to be a big test for them in terms of being able to win on the road within their own division. So I'd say, this is going to be probably a good indication of where these things go in terms of the finals. Whoever wins this game probably kind of can set themselves ahead at least of the other team. Now the Giants are sitting at the bottom at 1-5, so they got some work to do. And of course, Philly's all banged up. So this is, I think, this is quite a big game, and it's especially big for Dallas. They really have to show that they can win on the road within their division. I think. Looking at my wager count, like I said, I got more bets on Washington. We're really holding strong on that number. It's decent two-way action in terms of my actual money, and the total hasn't moved a whole lot. And that's just the general perception that money is going to come in on the over. They just generally tend to do that in these games. So under 42, I actually did take sharp money there. And again, when you look at Dallas's defense and how they've been going lately, it's kind of justifiable. Even with Prescott at the helm, he ran the ball a whole lot last week as well. Yeah, and obviously they got a decent running game as it is. So I think this could be one of those kind of grind them out type of games. And again, I try not to read too much into things in terms of why sharps play what, but I can certainly justify this one going under and being kind of a smash mouth game.
Yeah, I've stopped betting on the overs and unders. Last week I took the under on the Patriots Chiefs, which, probably a stupid decision on my part, but here at the over-under of 41.5, taking the under is it's going to be tough for me, but I can see why people are taking it. Let's go to our next game here. Saints taking on the Ravens this week. Now, Ravens obviously shut out the Titans on the road last week. They're back home. But this Saints team, that offense has been absolutely rolling the past couple of weeks. Now, I know home favorites get that 3-point boost, but the Ravens as a 2.5-point favorite, that's kind of a head-scratcher for me.
Yeah, I don't know. If you look at things, really, if this was, I always kind of backtrack and say, look, if we were sitting on the neutral field, what would this line be? You probably open it up as a pick, and maybe you might make a case that Saints -1 just because they're a more public team and they might get more action that way in terms of the the public perception of how good the Saints are. And again, I think it's just one of those things where people like to bet Breeze. They like to bet Breeze because they know he's going to put up a lot of points to kind of set the confidence that goes with that. Now, they kind of give up a lot of points as well. So there's probably not a whole lot to choose between these teams. When you look at points for and points against, I think Baltimore's given up their net differential is probably twice what New Orleans is, and they're at home. So the 2.5 and 3 kind of seems like the right number. When I'm looking at my wager count here as well, I've got more bets on Baltimore now. It's not even a 2-1 count, but it's pretty much close to that. So it seems like the number was the right one opening up with. Just judging by my early count and the early action we've taken on this one. We opened 2.5. We're sitting at 2.5 -15 right now. Interesting too is Baltimore's put up a lot of points, and New Orleans obviously puts up a whole lot of points, but this total has dropped from the 50 down to 50 from the 51 where it opened. So I'm kind of it's kind of makes me wonder if sharp money came in that somewhere else. I've got a wager count in terms of the number of bets I've taken. Twice as many bets on the over. Now, anytime New Orleans is involved, you expect it to be 2-1, 3-1, 4-1 towards the over. So just the fact this number's dropped down kind of indicates to me that maybe somewhere someone had played sharp money on the under, but here they didn't do that. But 2.5 -15 with Baltimore at home seems to be the right number. And if you look at, if you look at their records in terms of New Orleans being 4-1, Baltimore 4-2, but Baltimore being at home, point differential, all that kind of stuff. It's an intriguing matchup, I think, because it's not two teams that you typically see going against each other.
All right, let's go into our next game here. Now, the Patriots coming off that huge win against the Kansas City Chiefs at home on that last-second field goal. The Bears coming off maybe the most disappointing loss for any team so far this year. I don't know how they lost that game against Miami. They even had a Kenyon Drake fumble at the goal line in overtime and couldn't get the win. Patriots come into this game as a 3-point favorite. Where do you see this line trending as we get closer to Sunday?
Yeah, this is one of those games where I'm definitely going to have what we call a sharp and public split. And I say that because I already did take sharp money on this one. And this is probably going to surprise you that we took sharp money on Chicago. Now, if you look at the line movement, trended up and then back down. Sharp money came in on Chicago plus 3.5 as the home dog. You did, it's a good mention that talking about how they, kind of fell apart last week at Miami, didn't get the win. But for them being in Chicago and then going to Miami, and from what, all the reports that was, the second half, the heat was just really getting the players and they were basically fell apart. And that's kind of what happened to Chicago there. But they're at home here. And again, New England is New England. And, I kind of joke that the next time that we as a book actually need New England to win, well, that next time would be the first time because we never need them. And this is going to be one of those cases, where we don't need New England to win. I've got 4 times as many more bets in terms of the actual wager count favoring New England. So a whole lot of money coming on New England. Now that's mostly public money betting on New England because we took the sharp money at the plus of 3.5. And you look at, New England defensively, I just, I get the sneaky feeling that Chicago is going to be able to put up a whole lot of points against that New England defense. And obviously Chicago's defense is pretty stout. So I think this game kind of, sets up well for both Chicago and perhaps for the books as well. This is going to be a definite big need for us. I can tell you right now, even at the 2.5 minus 120 or 3-dog-20, which is out in the market with New England on the road. This is one of those games where the public's just going to keep on pounding New England. They're going to think they're getting some kind of deal with the line being below 3. But, my suspicion is it might creep up back to 3, maybe 3 with some juice on the dog. But the sharp money came in already on Chicago, and the public money is, indicating already that they're betting New England. So sharp public split on this one as well.
All right, Brent, let's not go to what the pros are doing this weekend. Now, the NFL with these sharps bettors is always up in the air. Where are the sharps putting their money down this week?
Yeah, I do want to say, Harris, that so far this season, sharp money has really done quite well. Now, again, you have to set, expectations and kind of your standards accordingly. When I talk about sharp money doing well, it's like in a week where there's, say, 5 games that sharp money plays and they win 3 of them. That's very successful for sharp guys. You're talking about 60% of the course of the season. So you have to set realistic expectations. We did touch on sharp money coming in on Chicago already and the Dallas under. More plays here would be the Tampa Bay Cleveland over. Now, again, we always hate when the sharp money comes in on the over. They came over 49.5 on this game. This totals up to 50.5. And again, just the reason we always hate sharp money coming in on overs is because the public bets overs as well. That game is at a wager count of 4 times favoring the over. So no surprise with Tampa Bay's defense, money coming in on the over there. Also another sharp play we have here. This one's kind of, one of those spots as well that's setting up as a sharp and public split for us. And that is the Rams at San Francisco. Rams are a 9.5, 10-point favorite out there. And I got sharp money on San Francisco plus 10. Now, 10 is a whole lot of points in the NFL, especially with the home team. You look at, Shanahan, Beathard, they seem like a team that's going to be able to score some points against the Rams here. So I kind of like our position there in terms of needing San Francisco at home. And the last one, back to the Giants here. The Giants are on the road at Atlanta. And Giants, if you look at things, they are 1-5. Atlanta's 2-4. But Giants are probably a better team. They've had a tougher schedule. They are coming up off extra rest as well, which is always valuable in the NFL. Atlanta Falcons defense has just been terrible. They're missing a whole lot of pieces. We're sitting at 54 for this total. If you look at their, their last 5 games, they've, the totals have been 63, 58, 73, 80, 55. Their defense is in, big trouble. And I think the Giants plus 5.5 is a good spot for us. The line is down to 4.5 right now. And I've got 3 times as many bets favoring Atlanta. So another great spot where I've got, much more bets coming in on Atlanta and sharp money the other way. So I got a sharp public split there as well, Harris, with sharp money on the Giants plus the 5.5 and public money betting on the Falcons.
If you guys want to put money on any of these NFL games this weekend, head to chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code LIVE120 for a 120% deposit bonus. Brent, thank you again for joining us this week.
Have a great weekend. Thank you.
You too.